What if I told you that a simple choice of just deciding when to start your old age security could be worth over $3,100 a year and possibly much, much more over your lifetime? It might sound dramatic, but it's just plain math. In 2025, OAS is walking a fine line between opportunity and risk. Take it too early and you might shortchange yourself for decades, wait too long and you could miss out when you actually need the income, or even face clawbacks that quietly eat away at your benefit. Millions of Canadians are about to make this decision. Most won't think twice. Some will get it right, and others will regret the timing for years. This video is about making sure you're in that group that gets it right. So stick around, we'll walk through real numbers, smart strategies, and a few costly pitfalls most people never see coming until it's too late. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Jacqueline Ozdemir, a financial advisor here at Ferguson Financial Planning. I work closely with clients who are juggling multiple income streams, business interests, and investment accounts, but want a more structured, tax-smart way to grow and preserve their wealth. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through one of the biggest gaps I see over and over again, how people approach government benefits like old age security without a clear structure, often leaving a mess for their families and a hefty check for the CRA. We'll unpack what effective legacy planning actually looks like, why leaving everything to the will isn't enough, and some overlooked strategies that could help keep more of your wealth with your family, not the government. If you find this video helpful, be sure to hit like and leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future content like this. Okay, let's dive in. Understanding what OAS looks like in 2025. Let's start with the basics. In 2025, old age security is more than just a neat little paycheck that shows up every month at age 65. Yes, the basic monthly benefit might hover around $727 for folks between 65 and 74, but there's a lot more under the hood. Once you turn 75, that monthly amount jumps to about $800. And if you live quite a while, that's significant. But OAS isn't on its own island. Your overall income matters too. If your net income creeps above the threshold of about $93,000, Canada's clawback rules start stepping in. That can reduce the benefit you actually keep. Imagine this scenario. Robert turned 65 in 2025. He spent decades building up his retirement accounts, plus he has a bit of real estate income. He's eager to collect OAS at 65 because, well, he's eligible, so why not? But by tax time, he realizes his total income soared above the $93,454 threshold, so the government taps him on the shoulder saying, "We're gonna take back a portion of that OAS, thanks." Suddenly, that once appealing $727 starts shrinking. Now, if Robert had known about the thresholds, he might have planned better. Maybe he would have held off on drawing from certain investments in that same year, or at least he'd have a clear strategy that balanced out his total income so he wouldn't flirt with that clawback line. That's why OAS in 2025 isn't just easy money. It's part of your overall financial picture. If you're inching into higher income territory, you risk giving a chunk back, but if you need that monthly injection of funds right away, maybe to pay daily bills, maybe to keep from dipping too much into your savings, then starting at 65 might still be worth it. So what am I trying to get at? Don't overlook how the net income threshold can shape your OAS reality. You want to know upfront whether you're in that zone where the benefit might get trimmed. So that brings me to point number 2. If OAS at 65 sounds decent, why wait? Well, there's often an overlooked perk. The longer you hold off, the larger the monthly payment gets. If you postpone it all the way until you're age 70, your check could be around 36% higher than it would have been at 65, which is about 0.6% for every month you wait from age 65 to age 70. That's a decent little bump, taking you from the low $700 range closer to $989 each month. Think about that for a second. You're essentially rewarding yourself with a bonus every month for life. Now, not everyone can or should wait. If you're already retired, you might rely on OAS to help cover rent, groceries, or other day-to-day expenses. Skipping that money for 5 years might feel like a stretch. But let's picture the scenario of a client of mine, Florence. She's about 64, still doing part-time consulting, and most of her day-to-day expenses are handled. Florence isn't counting on OAS right now, so by deferring, she lowers the chance that her current income hits that clawback zone. Plus, when she does start collecting at 70, she'll bank a bigger monthly deposit. And for some, bumping up that monthly flow in your 70s can help cover the rising cost of everyday living or new hobbies you might pick up in retirement. But there's another subtle advantage. When Florence defers her OAS, she's also buying herself more room to stagger other income streams. For instance, if she's tapping her RSP or RIF in her late 60s, taking OAS too soon might cause her total taxable income to balloon. That might trigger more taxes or even slash her benefit. But by postponing, she spaces things out, hopefully lowering her overall taxable income in certain years and shrinking what the government claws back. So at the heart of it, deferring OAS is a handy tool if you can manage without that money for a bit. It's not a must-do, but for some folks who expect to live longer, have alternative income sources, or just want more breathing room around age 70, the math is appealing. The extra 36% per month can really add up over the years. So we've talked all about waiting for that bigger check, but let's not ignore the other side. For plenty of people, taking OAS at 65 is perfectly fine, or even necessary. Not everyone has a comfy pension or a massive investment pool to draw on. So if you need that monthly chunk of government money to keep your lifestyle intact, waiting until 70 might do more harm than good. Sometimes it's about keeping your day-to-day spending balanced rather than aiming for that absolute highest benefit down the road. I'll give you an example of this. Let's take an individual who is turning 65 soon, owns a small condo, and has some savings in a tax-free savings account. But her monthly bills, like utilities, groceries, and a few health costs, are already tight. If she holds off on OAS, she'll burn through her TFSA or lean too heavily on her credit cards, digging herself into a financial hole. And that's no fun. By collecting OAS right at 65, she can breathe easier, cover her essentials, and not worry about juggling too many debts. Sure, she might reduce her lifetime total payout, but she's also reducing stress, and that can be worth a lot on its own. Another reason some folks might jump on OAS at 65 is estate planning. Suppose you want to leave your personal investments alone so they can keep compounding. If OAS helps you to pay the day-to-day expenses, then your other accounts might keep growing, possibly leaving more for your loved ones someday. This can be especially meaningful if you have certain shares you don't want to sell because they might trigger capital gains, or you have property you want to pass down later. Finally, it's important to consider future tax implications. Some folks anticipate that once they hit 72, their mandatory RIF withdrawals will shoot their income way up. So taking OAS early means we'll get a few years of benefit before that big tax wave arrives. So if you're leaning towards starting OAS at 65, think about your broader situation. You might be trading away the 36% bonus, but you're getting stability right now. And that could be the smarter move, depending on where you stand. So we've got two camps, people who can't wait and people who can't or don't want to wait. But here's the real issue. When to take OAS shouldn't be a random choice. It should be part of a strategy that looks at your income, possible clawback risk, and how long you believe you'll need those funds. You don't want to pick an OAS start date in a vacuum. It's best to see how it fits with your other income streams, whether you have corporate dividends, real estate cash flow, RIF distributions, or even part-time consulting gigs. Let me explain through a couple I met, Lila and Pete. Lila and Pete both turned 65 in 2025, but their situations differ. Lila is finishing up a consulting project that pays well, so she's already near that OAS clawback threshold. If Lila adds OAS on top, she might lose a portion to the clawback. Pete, on the other hand, retired a little earlier. His income is modest, mostly coming from a small pension and interest on his savings. If he delays OAS, he might end up scraping by until 70, which he doesn't love. So after looking at their situation and running the numbers, we decided that Lila delays her OAS because it prevents her from crossing the clawback threshold and locks in a higher monthly check later. Meanwhile, Pete starts his OAS right at 65 because he needs the immediate boost. This combination helps them stay comfortable now and set up a stronger retirement income later on. That's how OAS can integrate with your life. There's no universal age that's best for everyone. In fact, many advisors say that the perfect strategy might lie somewhere between 65 and 70, like 67 or 68. If that's enough time to scale down your other income, or often certain tax hits, the key is to run a projection of your finances year by year. If your future income looks lower, or if you know you can wait and get that nice jump at 70, do it. But if you need OAS in the short term, or if your future tax scenario is likely to ramp up, go ahead and lock in that 65 age benefit. The ultimate goal is to keep your retirement plan steady without big surprises and make sure each piece works together, not against each other. Let's cap it off with a practical reminder of how all these parts tie together. Old age security can be simple if you're right at 65, ready to collect, and your overall income is modest. But for those with multiple income sources, maybe you have a comprehensive RSP or a business on the side, OAS gets layered into a bigger picture. One major pitfall is ignoring the clawback. If your total net income heads north of $93,454, you'll repay part of your OAS. Keep going higher and you could lose the entire benefit. That's why some people think, maybe I'll delay OAS until I'm done with big RSP withdrawals or until my business income tapers off. Then again, if you skip OAS, but your income still stays high later on, you might not escape that clawback anyways. It's a balancing act. Another angle is taxes. Sometimes by taking OAS early, you risk pushing yourself into a higher tax bracket if you also start drawing from your RIF at the same time. This can result in a larger tax bill than you expected. On the flip side, if you hold off, you might find yourself in a better bracket in your late 60s, especially if your other income sources have trickled down by then. Either way, it really pays to map out your future income year by year. Ultimately, old age security is one piece of your retirement puzzle. The right time to start depends on your personal finances, health, lifestyle goals, and even your gut feeling on how long you might live. The biggest pitfall is just winging it. Spend a bit of time weighing the tax brackets, the clawback thresholds, and what your overall retirement picture looks like. Then make the call that fits you best. Taking old age security isn't just about hitting 65 and saying, sure, I'll take the money. It's about understanding how it fits into everything else, your other income, your taxes, even your long game for retirement. Whether you're like Florence, holding off to boost that monthly amount, or more like Pete, needing the income today to keep things steady, it all comes down to intentional planning. What matters most? Timing OAS right can save you from losing thousands to the clawback, cushion your RIF withdrawals, and give you more flexibility when healthcare costs or lifestyle choices shift. It's not about picking the perfect age, it's about the right choice for your life. If you've built substantial wealth, don't fumble on small details with big consequences. Run the projections, test the trade-offs, and give future you a break. So if you've made it this far, here's the bottom line. When you take OAS matters more than most people think. And if you're sitting there thinking, should I start now or am I better off waiting? That's the question we help people answer every day. So if you'd like to see how this all fits into your bigger plan, click the link in the description and book a discovery call. We'll look at the numbers so this choice isn't a guessing game. Also, if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're breaking down topics that most people gloss over, especially the ones that can quietly cost you a significant amount. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.